protesting outside Total offices earlier today, and that is exactly the reason why we're going out and trying to get this message out, that we are aware, and we need Total to know that we will not keep silent if we feel that what they're doing in Uganda isn't fair, isn't just. And like you rightly say, Helen, the social impact, the environmental impact, and the big questions about transparency and accountability of these funds, which will just be used to entrench the regime. Helen, I don't know if this is a concept that you're familiar with, that when it comes to money moving around to dictatorial governments, but I came across a term, odious debt.
Yeah.
How possible is it for Ugandans or Ugandan through the international legal courts to declare some of this money? If we're doing all we can to try and fight the additional loans, because Uganda, as it stands, is already debt-ridden.
Yeah.
But how possible would it be for us to launch some kind of legal challenge that effectively wrote off this debt as odious debt and attached it solely to the dictator himself, as opposed to national debt?
That would be fine. I mean, to charge Museveni $300 million for misusing a World Bank loan personally, that would be nice. The problem is that what the international financial institutions often prefer to do is just wipe out the debt so they can lend more money, which they love to do. And Western taxpayers then have to foot the bill, and that just empowers Museveni. I mean, he'd love nothing more than to have the debts written off. So I don't think debt relief per se on its own is necessarily a great idea at the moment.
Yes, so and one thing I need to ask you, Ellen, I know you have quite a busy schedule. So how much time do you have left?
I have about 1.5 minutes.
Okay, so that is a very short time. So can you then maybe in 1.5 minutes summarize why the IMF shouldn't be giving this loan to Uganda?
The Museveni regime has a history of misusing World Bank and IMF loans in particular. Billions of dollars have been diverted, both from aid programs, everything from AIDS and malaria funding to giant budget support loans like the one the IMF is considering giving to Uganda right now. And there's particular concern about this because of the diversion of the last loan that the IMF gave to Uganda in 2020, this $300 million loan, which was diverted to a classified military expenditure, which was almost certainly used to rig and militarize the election, torture and kill Ugandans, and basically extend Museveni's grip on power. If that's the kind of thing the IMF supports, well, then it should just really come out and say so. Otherwise, it should not give this loan, which will only empower truly a monster.
And his son.
And his extended pension.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So Helen, thank you so much for your contribution and your ability to squeeze this in between your various appointments. I'm afraid that this subject is going to be continued.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll speak again soon.
Okay. Great.
You can. I will remove you from the screen.
Okay.
The team is going to continue to talk about the demonstration, and then you can just remove the tab from your browser. Thank you.
Okay. Be well. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you, Helen.
And I'm also adding Dorcas to the stream. So now Dorcas does not have the video on. Dorcas, can you turn on your sound, or is that not convenient at the moment? In the meantime, David, maybe this is a good time to already start explaining what is going to happen tomorrow.
Okay. No, most certainly so. Have you got the video I sent earlier? That would be good.
Yes, let's run that.
If we could run it, please. Thank you, Nico. So, so everyone knows that actually starting today for the next 3 days, presidents of the G7 countries are meeting in the UK, and that's simply because the UK has the presidency of the G7, and they have the privilege of hosting all these presidents at the G7 summit. We have been quite keen, and we are aware that the West, in its dealings with the dictator in Uganda, kind of showed two sides of genuineness in terms of what their expectations are. They fight on the grounds and they proclaim that they're fighting on the grounds of democracy, but they allow a totalitarian regime and a dictatorial regime to effectively run a country for decades with their full backing, full military support, training, and all sorts. So we Ugandans and friends of Uganda are taking our message to the summit. And so tomorrow I will be journeying with comrades who will be going to Cornwall, to the official protest sites. We'll be in Falmouth, which is where the world's media will be. And we are basically taking our message to the West and these big leaders and saying, look, stop this duplicity, stop the hypocrisy, stop funding, arming, and training the dictator Museveni. So that's what we will be doing pretty much for the best part of tomorrow. And we've got content, we've got flyers, we've got banners, we've got megaphones, and we're going to join other people who are activists who are fighting for different causes. There are all sorts of protesters there, but we're adding the voice of the Ugandan people. And Nico, the thing we always like to say is, if we who are in first world democracies can't speak up, how can we expect the people back home to speak up to the regime and the dictator? So that's part of what's happening tomorrow. So it's ongoing. Protesters are already there. We're just going to go in and take our space tomorrow, should everything go to plan. And then in parallel to that, we've got our biggest yet online protest. And the beauty of this online protest is it gives a chance to all those who couldn't make it for whatever reason, those who are in different countries facing lockdown, those who can't travel for whatever reason. We're giving them the chance to connect with Ugandans and friends of Uganda who are passionate about what's happening in Uganda tomorrow from 2 p.m. UK time. That's 4 p.m. Uganda time. And like the flyer that you've shared up shows, we've got a very, very powerful range of speakers who will be attending the session, and they will be contributing and giving their thoughts on a number of issues around the funding, around some of the pipeline work that we're trying to protest, accountability. And of course, those in Uganda know that right now the country is going through potentially a third or second phase or wave of COVID, with people getting hospitalized and the death toll rising. And it's no surprise that this is on the back of hugely mismanaged COVID funds, on the back of the loans that Helen was talking about. So just to run through the speakers that we've got tomorrow, we've got Honorable Mathias Mpuga, who is the leader of the opposition in Uganda. He will be addressing us. We've got Kakwenza Kirabosaija, who is a renowned author who has actually faced the wrath of the regime, who will be talking about his experiences and why he's so vocal about Uganda and human rights in Uganda and the rule of law and justice. Of course, we've got Robert Amsterdam, the NUP lawyer, or Bobby Wine's lawyer, certainly someone who's a friend of Uganda and has always stood for the people of Uganda, especially at a time when they're seeking change. And I think, Nico, you'll be taking us through a fairly detailed discussion around the statistics and the analysis of the work that you've done on the YouVote report and the survey that Joel Sabri has done. So there will be quite a detailed conversation about that. And we're joined by...
So let me just clarify here that Joel didn't have anything to do with YouVote. We only came into contact a couple of months ago when I found out he had done a survey in November. That was very interesting.
Fantastic. And I believe the survey is around, it was a poll, is this right? It was some kind of electoral poll.
Exactly, yeah. So what is very interesting about his survey, in short, that he interviewed about 14,000 people, and that of these 14,000 people, 59% of them were saying they were going to vote Bobby Wine. We know that the official result was less than 59% for Bobby Wine. So
it
allows us to calculate how many cows have voted.
Absolutely, and how many ballot boxes were stuffed. And of course, we've got David Lewis, who is the General Secretary, who will be interviewed by Comrade Professor Milton Alimadi tomorrow as well. And I believe, Nico, if I heard you right, we will have Dr. Lina Zedriga addressing the protest tomorrow.
Yes, she has acknowledged the requests by fans to also speak. So yes, she will be joining.
Backed by popular demand. Exactly. So that's what's happening tomorrow. So I would urge everyone who is listening to this stream and watching us on all the channels we're broadcasting, please look out follow at Uganda is Bleeding, which is the group that's been organizing this campaign. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. All you need to do is look for the handle @StandUpUganda, @StandUpUganda, and you'll find all the information about the protest. You'll find the flyer, you'll find the user ID and the password that will be used tomorrow. But one other thing I just want to add about tomorrow's protest, and you'd have seen it in the video. We're making all these flyers that we're going to hand out to people, kind of. In the case of the UK, we're trying to let the UK taxpayer know that their money is being spent on funding the lifestyle and the greed of the dictator in Uganda. So if the people in Uganda can't protest about the abuse of the funds, we will do it here on the back of us taxpayers in countries in the diaspora. And we would encourage every one of you, wherever you are, if you want to join in, get yourself a placard, dress up in your red attire, go out onto the street and make your voice be heard. You will speak to 1, 2, 3 people. Those are people who will listen to what you have to say. Let them know that Uganda is bleeding. And while you're doing it, connect to the Zoom protest, as long as you're doing it between 2 and 4 o'clock, and we will bring you in and you'll connect with thousands of other Ugandans right across the world who will be protesting against the dictatorial regime of dictator Museveni. So that is tomorrow from 2 p.m. UK time, which is 4 p.m. Uganda time. I hope to see as many of you there because we who are here and are free to speak need to raise our voices, and we need to ensure that we deliver a free Uganda, because that is the people's choice and that was the people's voice. Thank you so much, Nico. That's all I had to say about the protest tomorrow. Have I missed anything?
No, very, very well said. There is one small update, is that just an hour ago, we got the news that the Dutch MP Sylvana Simmons is also going to be speaking at our demonstration, which I find very interesting. First of all, because she is the MP for an anti-racist party. And many Ugandans in the West, they know what it is like to experience racism. But secondly, I find it very interesting because usually we find it difficult to get politicians to join our demonstrations. And actually, when we spoke to her 3 weeks ago, we told her about that. And that politicians are like, yeah, but we want to be neutral, so we can't join. And then she said herself, there is no such thing as neutrality. If it's about such fundamental causes as human rights, there is no neutrality. In the case of the Holocaust and the Second World War, what was neutral? Yes, Spain was neutral. They were fascists as well. So there is actually no such thing as neutrality in these cases. I think she understands very well the struggle that we're going through, and I'm really happy that she's going to join tomorrow. And then the other thing is, so there are a couple of demonstrations. For example, some Dutch people are going to be demonstrating at a Total station, and you also mentioned one demonstration at a Total station. And when I was preparing this program, I came across two Ugandan ladies protesting against Total as well. Shall I play that short clip?
Please, yeah, please do, please do.
Total, no more fossil fuel. Stop funding dirty energy. Stop ECOP.
Very clear.
Yeah, I think. I mean, there's so many things around the environmental impact, the social impact, and questions about the funds that are going. But it's true. It just beggars belief that we are on the back of a climatic shift towards green energy, renewable energy, and that's what's being discussed at the G7 summit. And here we are, Total, with the backing of the French government, are going in and basically doing a dirty on us and essentially investing in fossil fuels. I think there should be, I think last time I was on this program, we were discussing about Shell being held to account in the international courts. I think Total should just be drawn to the same standards and really question their credibility around how they can be championing green, clean energy, yet they're investing in fossil fuels.
Yes, very well put. And then we should not forget to make the connection to the French weapons. And so the tear gas grenade that almost killed Bobby Wine last year was a French grenade. So basically that Total oil is being used to paid French weapons. So this very well shows the enormous sinister role that the former colonialist France is playing here, while in Rwanda they have just apologized for the genocide and the role that the French had in that genocide. But here is a genocide that is going on right now, and the French are playing an important role in it.
Smacks of double standards to me, doesn't it?
Definitely, definitely. Is there anything else about the demonstration you want to say? Maybe did we already mention the Facebook link where people can follow the demonstration?
Yes, so we've made it very easy for people to follow all the work that we're doing on the Uganda is Bleeding campaign. So all they need to do is follow @StandUpUganda on all social media platforms. So we've got those handles reserved, but the only ones that are active are the Twitter one and the Facebook page. So all they need to go is facebook.com/StandUpUganda, and you'll find the stream. So that's absolutely right. So whilst it's a Zoom protest and people will have the opportunity to speak, we will also be streaming it across a multitude of pages, including JB Muonge and a number of other partner pages who will be streaming the broadcast. So if they can't get us on Stand Up Uganda, they will be able to watch us on JB Mwonge and the other pages. And just, you've just reminded me, I think it's really important for me to stress how these online protests work. We've been doing these, we do this every Saturday for 2 hours. And for the last 8 weeks, we've been encouraging Ugandans and friends of Uganda to get together and talk about what exactly is in their mind about what's happening in Uganda. And over time, we've built, and we continue to build a movement of people who really believe that Uganda can be a better place. We can have a representative leadership, we can have accountable leadership, and we're in the 21st century. We do not need to have leaders who oppress, rape, torture, and murder citizens just to have their way. So the way the protest works every Saturday is everyone who joins in has the opportunity to speak. You get given 5 minutes to express yourself, and you can express yourself in any way. You can prepare a pre-made submission. You can go off the bottom of your heart, just speak what's on your mind. You can present a poem, you can present a prayer, and some people have even used it to sing. The main thing is we need to get people speaking up about what's happening back home in Uganda, because if we who can speak up are not taking the opportunity to speak up, then how do we expect the people back home in Uganda to speak? Like Desmond Tutu said, in times of oppression, choosing silence is standing with the oppressor. So it is our duty to not keep and keep that fire burning, to keep the drumbeat of freedom, victory sounding.
Yes, very well said. Yeah, silence is bad. For example, the silence on Ugandan media about the BBC documentary clearly explaining how security forces on purpose were killing innocent people. Yeah, the analysis showed that only unarmed civilians were killed and no rioter was killed at all. And Ugandan TV stations are simply refusing to air this. We can't stay silent about it, so we'll just keep reminding the Ugandan politicians, tell us who were on police truck 17, because we know those were killers, and those killers need to be brought to justice. So yeah, thanks for that reminder about silence. And how about Twitter? Is Twitter in any way incorporated in the demonstration tomorrow?
Yes, I was just about to ask if Comrade Dorcas is joining us, because we always have a Twitter bombing session, and our sessions are designed to send the messages. We have crafted messages with handles and hashtags that we send out on particular topics. So we intend to mobilize all the people who are watching us on Saturday to use their devices. The Twitter space has been a space where we have seen a lot of win. We've talked about things like the activity against the Mercury, the PR firm, and it even goes back to the success around the Malmo Awards. You know, so anyone who thinks that activity online doesn't drive change, think twice. We can access some key decision makers directly using their handles. So Comrade Dorcas will be helping us with this Twitter bombing session. And this time we want to introduce something new for the president. I forget what the name is, the managing director of the IMF, Kristalina, is it, or someone? And we will be giving her the benefit of having an email shower on Saturday. So we hope to get as many people emailing her with our protest messages around the loan that the IMF is intending to give Uganda. No one is against Uganda getting funds. We just ask for accountability, transparency, and going by precedent, going by historical track record. We know that that is zero. So why continue burdening our country with debt? 50% of our GDP nearly is the debt level that we have, which is shocking for a country like Uganda. So yes, I believe Dorcas was supposed to be joining us to do something today, just to take people through a couple of tweets. I wonder if she's having a few challenges. But while we're waiting for Dorcas, I just wanted to say something about the truck 17 and the footage that was used by the BBC. For those of you who are out in the front line, Uganda now is the front line. Those of you who are seeing these abductions, who are seeing these people being dumped and the abuse of power by the regime and the police, capture that footage, capture those pictures, and share them. Share them with us. Share them with the people you know who are influential and will keep raising the name. But I think one of the things we need to keep doing is when we're capturing and sharing images, we need to start tagging the images appropriately so that when you search, you can search them. If you search right now, and this is because we know what the regime is doing around trying to clean its image. If you search for violence in Uganda elections on Google, you will not find many images. We know that there are images there, but because people don't upload them, or when they're sharing them, don't have the right tags to these images, they can't be searchable. And unless you search using image search, then you're losing the impact of these images. So those of you who are collecting and sharing images, make sure whenever you're putting them on your pages, use alternative text in your web pages, just to make sure you've appropriately tagged your images and videos so that they're searchable.
Yes, this is a good point. Obviously, to construct the RICT report, we've been looking for a lot of movies. And for example, many of the stuff that was published on Facebook, after some months, it's really difficult to find it. Most success I had with looking in Twitter history. I developed some tricks to be able to discover some of the movies that had been posted in January. And I think it was Nicholas Opio who also said, please send me that material. That material is very valuable. There is no impunity for the rigors of the elections and for the violators of human rights, and for those people who have put thousands of opposition members behind the jail and in torture houses. There will not be impunity. And therefore, we do need all those videos. And people that address myself and my private Twitter account is easily to be found, or one of the Noob Diaspora Twitter accounts. If you send those movies to us, we'll make sure we keep a copy of that movie, because that movie is evidence and that needs to be stored for the future generation that is going to experience a free Uganda. And when we will be bringing Museveni and likely his son to the jail of The Hague, and especially the ICC jail. So yeah, that's a useful contribution. Thank you. Now I did ask Comrade Dorcas to join, but she is. We saw her in logged in to this show, but she is not responsive. So maybe you can tell a bit more about it.
Yeah. So can I just give me a minute? What I'm hoping to do is just log into one of the channels that we're streaming on, because I can see a few comments. I just wanted to read them for you so that we just know that the people who are listening are aware that we're picking up what they're saying. So Nankabura Gertrude is saying, we are everywhere Twitter protesting, and we're using other ways to get our message across, which is absolutely right. I think there was something here. Margaret Owo is pleading to the US, please arrest Museveni because he's killing Ugandans day and night. Uganda, she uses the hashtag Uganda is bleeding silently. Okay, so I think the most important lesson we have learned from the stand the West takes is they will help you if you help yourself. Until then, they will help whoever is protecting their interests. And I think we all know that the US and the West have interest, geopolitical interest, economic interest, military interests in Uganda and East Africa. And until the people of Uganda actually stand up, they will play lip service to everything they say, but not really act. So it's good to ask, but at the same time, we need to keep our voices going.
Okay, that is great. So I think Comrade Dorcas will not be available anymore. I think we have explained to our viewers most important things of the meeting of tomorrow. Sorry. So before I play our final clip, any final remarks by you, David?
Yes, thanks, Nico. It's the message goes out to everyone who's watching. There's quite a few of you watching us on the different platforms. Everyone's voice adds to the cumulative voice of the people who are demanding for a free Uganda. So do not in any way think that you as an individual cannot make a difference. If it means going out and standing on your street corner with a placard, do so. In most democracies, you have the right to protest as an individual. You can go and stand in front of your local town center, your local public offices. You can stand on your street and you can raise your voice. If you could get one or two of your neighbors to understand the plight of Uganda, you will start making a difference. And the second thing is get yourselves onto social media and follow the key hashtags. They're hashtags that are trending. They're hashtags that His Excellency Bobby Wine uses. Bring back all our people, free political prisoners. Uganda is bleeding. We're using Visit Uganda. We're using SOS. Get yourself a Twitter handle, follow a Twitter account, follow at Stand Up Uganda, and you will see a number of tweets and start following people who are raising the voice. So if we can't do it physically on the streets, we invite you to go to Twitter. And I always say 5 tweets a day will keep the dictator away. So let's get you tweeting and let's get those messages circulating in the Twitter sphere. That's it for me. And of course, I hope to see as many of you tomorrow at the online protest. And if you're having your own local protest, whether it's at a Total petrol station or at your street corner, you can join our protest using the Zoom details that are on the flyers. All you need to do is just have your phone, turn it on and Zoom directly. You'll have the protest, and we would love to hear from all those of you who are here and who will be there tomorrow from 2 p.m. UK time, which is 4 p.m. Uganda time. Until we meet, those of you who are in Uganda, stay safe, isolate, keep yourselves socially distant, use hand sanitizer, and if you can get the vaccine, please do get the vaccine because COVID out there is real. And until then, make sure you keep safe, and let's meet hopefully tomorrow. Thank you, Nico.
Okay, thank you. See you all tomorrow.
Come together as one, united forces of change. Opposition, come together as one, please. All of us must come together as one. Alright, let me tell you. So now we say whether you are JMA, whether you are DP, whether you are NRM or you are FDC, whether you are CP, whether you PC, whether you are ANG, Kanegwanga Balimala.